It's week 16. We got some games to pick. I keep saying it every week. I say it every week. Spicy. It's hot. The NFL is it's just every week it gets better and better. It gets more interesting every single week. And here we are, week 16. We've got 4 teams in the NFL who've clinched a playoff spot. 1 team who's clinched the division title, that being the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, they're my pick for the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. Honestly, I think the Super Bowl preview is happening this week, and I think you know who I'm talking about. But we'll get to that game here in a second, because that's down at the bottom. Now, this is last week was pretty fun. The Indianapolis Colts got a big win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that shook some things up. The Steelers, they dropped to 10th. The Colts, they stayed at 7th. Now we have a 4-team tie at 8-6. Actually, a 5-team tie, but I'll get into that in just a second. You got the Bengals at 8-6 at the 6th seed. You got the 7th seed at the Colts. They're 8-6 with a 6-4 conference record. The Texans are 8-6 with a 5-4 conference record. The Bills are 8-6 with a 4-5 conference record. They're at 8-9 respectively. Now, if I can get this app to load, here we are. We're about to pick some games. Week 16, let's start it off Thursday, December 21st. That's tomorrow. We've got the New Orleans Saints. They are 7-7, taking on the Rams, who are also 7-7. The Rams, they're 7th in the NFC. They currently have a playoff spot. I thought the Rams were dead. I really did. I thought the Rams were out of the playoff race, and they have rattled off. I got to check this. They've rattled off 4 out of their last 5, which has been an incredible run. They're on a 1-game win streak. They did lose to the Ravens. I remember that. They lost to the Ravens. That was an incredible game. The Ravens, I would say, barely eked it out. A punt return in overtime isn't really eking it out. You stop them, they forced a punt. It just happened to be a great punt return. But the Rams are a good team, and I think they win this game. Being at home in LA, I don't know how much of a home field advantage LA really is. I see all the time opposing teams overwhelmingly selling out the home crowd, mostly the Chargers. I haven't really seen the Rams too much, but I don't watch too much NFC football. But this being on Thursday night, we'll see. And you'll definitely be able to tell the difference between the Saints fans and the Rams fans. So we'll see if maybe the Rams fans will show out. But even then, I still think right now the Rams, they're balling. Matthew Stafford's playing really well. He's slinging it, hitting receivers, man. I'm telling you. Give me the Rams in this one. Now let's move on to, there's some games on Saturday. Of course you've got some games on Saturday. There's no college football. Or if there is, there's really, they're low-level teams that nobody cares about. So these are Saturday games. Again, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got beat last Saturday by the Indianapolis Colts for, like I said, the first time since 2008. They're hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are actually favored by 2 points in this game. The Bengals are trying to hold on to that 6th seed in the playoffs. Personally, I'm rooting for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. But, man, the Bengals are... Since losing Joe Burrow, they're playing pretty well. What else can I say? They're winning football games, and they're winning them in a fashion that a playoff-like team would win them. They might not end up winning the division, but I think they actually make the playoffs, which makes it really tough. That there's only one spot left, that 7th seed. That means the Colts are going to be fighting for it, the Texans, and the Bills. I told you, the only team out of those 2 that scare me are the Buffalo Bills. But we got to beat the Texans first. We got to beat the Falcons first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But we're fighting with those 2 other teams. The Colts, Texans, and Bills are fighting for that 7th spot. Because I feel like that 6th spot's locked up. Because I feel like the Bengals get a big road win. And they're 0-4 in the division. The Bengals are 0-4 this year in the division. This would be a massive, massive win if the Bengals were to be able to get this on the road on Saturday, and I think they do. Also, another team that's in the playoff hunt that I just mentioned, the Buffalo Bills. They're on the road at the Chargers. The Chargers just fired their GM, just fired their coach. Their quarterback's out for the season. They just got the brakes beat off of them last Thursday night against the Las Vegas Raiders, 63-21. I don't see a way at all that the Chargers even come close to winning this game. If the Bills struggle to beat the Chargers in this game, the Bills do not deserve to be in the playoffs. If the Bills struggle, I'm not saying if they win by 10 or 13 or 17 points. No, if the Bills win by 3 or 4 points and it's a nail biter to the end, the Bills don't deserve to make it. But I'm picking the Bills in this game. I'm not. It's at the Chargers. There's going to be no Chargers fans there. That's the game where you're going to see it's going to be like, there's like 30,000 Bills fans here. Probably more. Okay, because they're riled up. They're on a bit of a hot streak too. They're 8-6. They're 3-2 in their last 5, and they've won their last 2. And they haven't just won their last 2. Okay, they've beaten the Dallas. They dominated the Dallas Cowboys in Buffalo, and then at Kansas City the week before that they beat Kansas City. They're riding high. The Bills are riding high. They've got a chance to really win the division. Seriously, if the Miami Dolphins slip up any more, and guess who they've got this week? They've got the let me make sure they got the Cowboys this week. Yeah, the Dolphins got the Cowboys this week. If the Dolphins slip up, that could lead the Bills into potentially winning the division. So the Bills fans are going to be hot. They're going to be rowdy. They're ready to go. So I could see some of the Bills Mafia taking a trip out to Los Angeles and overwhelming the Chargers. Would that be that? Even if it was on a neutral field, this game's going to be a blowout. The Bills players are ready to go. The Chargers, I don't know, man. I don't see it happening. Go Chargers for sure. I'd love to see the Chargers win, but 12-point underdogs, not happening. Not a chance. Not a chance. On Christmas Eve, this is the day we have most of the games. Sunday, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1 o'clock, the Seattle Seahawks coming fresh off of their Monday night win against the Philadelphia Eagles. Boy, they're reeling a little bit. They've lost their rest. They have lost their last 3 games. The Seahawks taking on the Titans. The Titans, Will Levis got banged up last week. They're in a battle, a dogfight to the end against the Houston Texans. The Titans couldn't pull it out, though. I got the Seahawks in this one. The Seahawks, they're 7-7. They're in the 8th slot, which isn't even in the playoffs, but they're right there. The Vikings, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Saints are all 7-7. They're all right there, 6 between 9. 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's a crazy race there in the NFC for the wild card slot. And you can even add the Buccaneers into that. The Buccaneers, they're 7-7. So the winner really of the NFC South is going to be in that 4 slot. And the other 2 teams, I guess you can throw the Falcons in there. The Falcons and the Saints and the Buccaneers are all fighting for that division lead. The Falcons, they just took a big loss to the Carolina Panthers. And I'll get to that here in just a second, but let's go ahead and pick this game. Let's not get too off track. The Seattle Seahawks, they're going to beat the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, they're fighting for a playoff spot. That's where I was getting off track. They're fighting for a playoff spot, and they're absolutely on the road in Tennessee. They're absolutely going to dominate them. It's going to be, I really think Drew Lock, he can hold it down. He's slinging the ball, whether Geno Smith or Drew Lock plays. It really doesn't matter. I think that Seattle's going to beat the Tennessee Titans. But let's go ahead and pick the Colts against the Falcons. Now, this is what I don't understand. The Indianapolis Colts opened up, I don't really care about this too much, but they opened up as like a 1.5 or 2-point favorite. Now they're currently a 1-point underdog. It was said that Isaiah McKenzie and Tony Brown were suspended for the rest of the season. And nobody knows what for. And somebody on Twitter said that their lockers have been removed from the locker room. So I don't know what's going on. I've heard fighting. I've heard there was a hunting issue. I do not know. But 2 players, Isaiah McKenzie and Tony Brown Jr., gone. But you got Michael Pittman. He was limited at today's walkthrough Wednesday. You had Jonathan Taylor. He was a full participant. So I'm not quite sure. The Falcons did have a quarterback change. They benched Desmond Ridder, and they're starting Taylor Heinicke. Taylor Heinicke, he did it to us last season when he was with the Commanders. Came in, and him and Scary Terry McLaurin, they did it to us. And I don't think that we should take Taylor Heinicke lightly, but I still don't understand how the Colts are now a 1-point underdog. I'm picking the Colts in this one. I think the Colts go on the road, and I think they're really high off of the win they had against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was an awesome, awesome win. Really, really, I mean, there's some things to clean up, but here's what I'm thinking. The Falcons just lost to the Carolina Panthers on the road 9-7. Now, I know each week is completely different, man, but that's as bad as it gets. When you only put up 7 points, when you only put up 7 points up against the worst team in the league, that's probably why they benched Desmond Ridder, to be honest. Now, I don't know how much Taylor Heinicke is going to help. Hopefully the Colts can get after him. I'm talking, as a Colts fan, but I think the Colts can get after the quarterback. That's been their MO all season long, other than the game against the Bengals. They got after the quarterback against Pittsburgh, and that's been their recipe for success all season long. And if they can do that, the Colts are going to win, and I think they do. Then we've got the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. Now, last week I was really, really hoping the Titans would take care of the Texans. This week, it's not as big of a deal. Now, I guess it would be better. It'd probably help us more if the Browns did beat the Texans. So, go Browns, but all bias aside, I am going to pick the Cleveland Browns. C.J. Stroud, I still believe, is in concussion protocol. The Cleveland Browns, they eked out a win against the Chicago Bears at home last week. Honestly, should have been a caught Hail Mary, but it wasn't. The Browns, they got a win. The Texans, they eked out a win against the Tennessee Titans on the road without their starting quarterback, C.J. Stroud. He was out. They started Case Keenum. The Texans went on the road, beat the Titans in overtime. Really, you got to respect both efforts. And I was rooting against both teams last week, and now they play each other. I would say, since the Browns are so far ahead of us, being 9-5, go ahead and have the Browns win. They'd be 10-5. The Texans knock down a notch. They'd be 8-7. We really just got to win out. I think all that we need to worry about as the Colts is we really just need to win out. Anything else, I don't want to have to worry about us going 2-1 and other teams losing. We need to win out. But I'm going to go ahead and say the Cleveland Browns win. They are 2.5-point favorites. Let's move on to the Green Bay Packers. Man, they took a tough loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. The Carolina Panthers, they're not fighting for anything. They're done. The Packers, they are 6-8. They're going to win this game, but I really don't think it matters. Last week, they allowed a perfect passer rating in Lambeau Field for the first time. And they're 6-8. That last week was the backbreaker for the Packers. They needed that to stay in the wild card hunt. They didn't get it, and now it really doesn't matter because they're out. So the Packers are going to win this game, but it's not really going to do much for them. The Commanders, I don't even have them on here on my board here, so I need to look at their thing. They're 4-10, taking on the 5-9 Jets. This game is the who gives up game of the week. My grandma told me that I had to stop cussing so much. Sometimes it'll slip out. Sorry, Grandma. But yeah, it is. The Jets are favored by 3. It's in New York. Oh, man. I don't even know. Give me the Jets. The Jets are going to win this, I guess. Yeah, go Jets. The Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings. This game could be for the division title. The Lions would absolutely have to fall apart. They're 10-4. They have not played the Vikings yet this season. They have, let's see the Lions schedule. They have, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. Ooh, the break. I mean, the Vikings have a chance here if the Lions absolutely just fall apart. Okay, they'd have to lose twice to the Vikings, and then obviously to the Cowboys. That's tough right there, but it is at Minnesota. The Lions, man, they're They're coming off of a dominant win against the Denver Broncos. On Saturday, a bit of a longer week. The Vikings are coming off of an overtime loss to the Cincinnati Bengals on the same day. I want to say the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be tough because both of these teams, they're fighting for a playoff spot. The Vikings are the 6th seed in the playoffs. The Lions are the 3 seed in the playoffs. This game wouldn't flip anything at the moment, but as the Vikings, that the Lions have a really tough schedule and that you could actually make a run for the NFC North title. But I want to say that I'm going to go with the Lions. I want to say the Vikings. I do, but the Lions, I think, are going to close it out and win the division at Minnesota. You got to, right? That's what you want to make the playoffs. You want to be one of the best teams in the league, not only in the NFC, in the league. You close it out on the road against your division rival, the biggest threat that you've got right now. Close it out. That's what you got to do, and I think that'll happen. As much as I want to say the Minnesota Vikings, I think it'll happen. I think the Lions get it done. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars starting off our 4:05. This is a big game for the Indianapolis Colts, for the Houston Texans, and for the entire landscape of the AFC playoff picture. The Jacksonville Jaguars are at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Jacksonville Jaguars put up a shit show against their fans. For the first, they have Sunday Night Football come to their stadium for the first time in 15 years. And that's what they put on display, 23-7. And doesn't Trevor Lawrence get hurt again? Look, the Jaguars, I think they're done. I think even if they win the division, I think they're one and done. Honestly, if the Colts were, I want to play the Jaguars in the first round of the playoffs. That's how bad I think the Jaguars have gotten. They're at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they just come off of a really big win at the Green Bay Packers, 34-20. So I'm looking at this, I'm thinking like, okay, I really want the Jaguars to lose. They're at Tampa Bay, and I'm bringing up the Sunday night thing to say this. You put up that in front of your fans. You pack the stadium, and you put that effort up against the Baltimore Ravens, who are the best team in the league, arguably the best team in the league. We'll find out this week. The best team in the AFC at the very least. And you could take over Tampa Bay. I'm not sure how far Tampa Bay is from Jacksonville, but the Jaguar fans could take over Tampa Bay. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be loud and raucous for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. I mean, Baker Mayfield's playing really well right now. I'm serious. And you got Mike Evans, dog. Chris Godwin, dog. I mean, the Buccaneers, they're 7-7. They're leading the division. They're in the playoff hunt. They're a 4 seed, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're only one game below the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. Now I know of course you're gonna pick the Buccaneers because you want that division title. You're damn right. I want that division title. Of course I want the division title. I'm hungry. I got a poster right there. It says 2014 season schedule. It's the Colts. That was the last time the Colts won the division title. It was in 2014. I was a senior. No. I wasn't a senior in high school. I just graduated that year. I was 19 years old. I was just a little young pup. 18 years old. Just a little young pup, man. And I'm 27 now. Oh, man. And we haven't won the division title in that long. And it's time to do it. So the Jaguars need to lose to the Buccaneers. And that's what's going to happen. The Arizona Cardinals, they take on the Chicago Bears. I said that the Commanders and Jets were who gives a game of the week. But the Cardinals and the Bears, oh, man. Kyler Murray's back, Justin Fields. This would be a good matchup. I think the NFL wanted this to be a good matchup. It's on Fox. It's at 425. The Bears are actually playing pretty solid right now. I feel like the Bears are playing all right. They're 5-9. They don't really have much to play for. They're actually technically in the playoff race. They're 5-9, and if a Christmas miracle happens, a bunch of teams lose and they win, they can be in. But I don't think it's going to happen. Go ahead and give me the Bears, though, but I don't think it's going to happen for the playoff push. But here is the game of the week. On Sunday, at least, you have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to the Miami Dolphins. The Dallas Cowboys got manhandled by the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. The Miami Dolphins shut out their Jets in Miami. This is a 1.5 point favorite for the Miami Dolphins. The Dallas Cowboys, man, this is tough. The Dallas Cowboys got a break with the Philadelphia Eagles also losing on the road to the Seattle Seahawks. So that loss that Cowboys took doesn't hurt them as much. But man, you go into Miami, a team that's also fighting for the first place in first place in the conference. The Dolphins, they have the Ravens next week. Like, the Dolphins, they can't lose any footing. The Cowboys, they can't lose any footing. You've got two teams really, really fighting for their division title and their playoff lives. It's as good as it gets. Give me the Dolphins, man. Give me the high five. Only, you know what? I'm going to put an asterisk next to this. If Tyreek Hill plays, give me the Dolphins. If Tyreek Hill does not play, because I don't know if this is Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday, December 20th. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is going to play. He didn't play against the Jets. They still won 30-0. But against the Cowboys, if Tyreek Hill doesn't play, give me the Cowboys. So I'm putting an asterisk by that. The full disclaimer. If Tyreek Hill plays and the Cowboys still win, I'm wrong. If Tyreek Hill doesn't play and the Dolphins win, I'm wrong. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's my prediction for that. That's how big of a game changer is, and I think he needs a hard look at MVP. I'm dead serious. I really think that Tyreek Hill needs a hard look at MVP. I don't know if he'll get it because I think that's Dak Prescott. And really, this game could come down, could decide it. Because if Tyreek plays and the Cowboys do win, man, I mean, you got to look at Dak anyway. Dak's, leading the division right now, 10-4. He's playing the best football. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, you on the same team, Brock Purdy. I mean, this is getting really juicy. But Dak right there to me is leading the pack. Then the Sunday night game, I'm surprised this wasn't flexed out. Really surprised this wasn't flexed out. I'll probably just go to bed, honestly. Even though it's Christmas Eve and I'm, nothing going on, early in the morning the next day. But the Patriots at the Broncos, they're 7-7. They just lost last week. The Patriots, they're 3-11. They're awful. Yeah, give me the Broncos. The Broncos are probably going to win this game. Then we've got 3 games on Monday, December 25th. Merry Christmas. As you see the decorations, I've seen all the decorations all year long. I've got the Christmas tree. I've got the garland and the ornaments done by Jessica. And we've got the Christmas hat, the Santa hat on. It has been very fun with all these lights and stuff. I hope you have enjoyed it. They'll probably come down after the New Year because I want to put that bat back up. But on Monday, Christmas, the Las Vegas Raiders are at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have struggled a little bit, but they're still division winners. They're still going to win the division. They're 9-5. They're going to win. They're going to beat the Raiders. Let me say this. So the Raiders last week, they beat up on the Chargers 63-21. Tell me why Max Crosby on the sideline smoking a cigar. You want a game against a 5-win football team in the Chargers, and you're smoking a cigar when you're a 6-win football team. I know you scored a franchise record of points, but you're a 6-8 football team. I don't know. I just felt like it was weird. The Raiders aren't going to win this game. They're going to go 6-9, and that'll be the end of their season. The Giants, they travel to the Philadelphia Eagles. This would be a really big game for the Philadelphia Eagles to get back on track. The Philadelphia Eagles have lost the last 3 games. The Giants, something I want to say. Tommy DeVito, man. Wait, what's up, bro? Come on, man. He was charging $10K to this restaurant, and then he doubled his prices. He canceled the event, doubled his prices, and then now he's out of the gig because he's too big Hollywood, right? I don't know. But it's the Giants at the Eagles. It's a good rebound game for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are going to beat up on the Giants. They're at home, 12-point favorites, like I said. The Eagles, they're still trying to compete with the Dallas Cowboys. So there's that. They got that playing for them. And then the Baltimore Ravens, the game of the week, Baltimore Ravens at the San Francisco 49ers. So when everything's done, Christmas is over, you're back at your house, you're playing with your gifts, your kids are playing with your toys, and you're kind of testing out your new gadgets and gizmos and stuff. You turn it on, one of the games of the season. The 11-3 Baltimore Ravens at the 11-3 San Francisco 49ers. This game is, to me, a Super Bowl preview. I think this is the game of the week. The San Francisco 49ers are 5.5-point favorites, which I think is pretty steep. I'm serious. That's crazy. Lamar Jackson, 3,105 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. To Brock Purdy, who, like I said earlier, could make a case for himself to be the MVP of the NFL. 3,795 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, QBR of 119. Brock Purdy slinging it. Like somebody, everybody's like, oh, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. Look, he's making the throws. He's hitting receivers. He's making the correct reads. Brock Purdy, he's a baller. It's at San Francisco. San Francisco, they've clinched the division. They're trying to clinch the entire NFC so they can get the number 1 seed and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Ravens are trying to do the same thing. The Ravens, though, this isn't as big of a loss to them as it would be for the Niners. Well, I feel like the Niners could still rebound and still get the number 1 seed. But I'm going to say that the Niners get it done. The Ravens, they drop to 11-4. The Dolphins, if they get it done against the Cowboys, they'll go to 11-4, and then we'll have a great Week 17 matchup between the Ravens and Dolphins. This is all setting up beautifully. Like, who would have thought that Week 18, the Colts and Texans, would have meant as much as it could? Who would have thought the Week 18, the Bills and the Dolphins? Well, I think that one, a lot of people thought that one was going to mean a lot. But then you've got the Ravens, they're playing the Dolphins Week 18, Week 17. That's going to be a battle for who the number 1 seed is. Unless the Dolphins slip up and the Bills win their division. And then the Ravens would be the number 1 seed. So a lot could happen. The Chiefs aren't going to be the number 1 seed. Patrick Mahomes could play his first road playoff game. It's all crazy stuff, man. It's the NFL. That's why we love the NFL. I don't know how long this video was. When I started this video, it was probably like 4 o'clock. Now it's 6:47. I don't know. This video was really long. I really appreciate you all sitting through it, watching it. Hey, appreciate everybody subscribing. I'm getting newer subscribers every day. It is absolutely awesome. It's absolutely incredible. I looked at the views that I had on my games, and I'm getting a lot of views on it, and it's super cool. I'm stoked about it, and I really appreciate everybody taking the time to watch it and subscribe. I really hope you're enjoying everything on the channel, all of my picks, me rambling as I like to do. But this is exciting stuff. I want to share all this, share all my, point of view on this, and it's all exciting. It's all crazy, and you guys need to know about it. And I'm gonna tell you because I'm the big dog. I'm the big dog named Austin. But that's all. That's all I got. Week 16. We're starting tomorrow. Tomorrow, the first game. No matter how good or bad the games are this week, it's still football. And it's getting to the end. It really is. As exciting and as fast as I want to know if the Colts are going to make the playoffs, it's just like, okay, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. We just beat the Steelers. Let's enjoy it. It's on to the Falcons. But let's enjoy every moment. But that's it. That's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed. But thank you.